The map was never meant to be public. It was printed on thick, weatherproof stock, the kind used for decades-old field charts before everything went digital. No markings on the front, no legend, no station ID, only faint pencil lines that had faded from years of handling. But the most unsettling detail wasn't its age, or its lack of documentation, or the strange symbols etched in the margins. It was the 7 dark strokes of red grease pencil drawn violently across the forest, each one slashing through an entire patrol sector. 7 zones. 7 places rangers once monitored daily. 7 areas they abandoned after 2012. The map surfaced only because the storage room it was hidden in flooded 2 winters ago. Rangers cleaning out waterlogged boxes stacked near an electrical panel found the rolled chart at the bottom of an unlabeled crate. The moment they unrolled it on the table, the room went silent, because every ranger recognized the locations instantly. Areas they'd been told for years were non-essential terrain. Areas they assumed were decommissioned due to funding cuts. But the truth was much older. And much stranger. Each crossed-out zone corresponds to an ongoing anomaly. Lights that appear in one valley and reappear in another. Voices mimicking missing hikers. Unmarked clearings that reset their footprint overnight. And all 7 zones were officially removed from Ranger Patrol duty in the same year, 2012. But no public record explains why. Tonight we follow that map. 7 abandoned patrol sectors. 7 anomalies still whispered about by the rangers who survived them. And one final zone, so heavily redacted that even the map itself refuses to show what lies beneath. The first crossed-out sector sits near the northern ridge, a narrow valley carved by glacial runoff, densely packed with old pines. Rangers called it the Lantern Run, long before it was abandoned. Not because of lanterns used by hikers, but because of lights. Spherical lights. Pale and yellow-white, drifting low among the trees like old miner lamps carried by invisible hands. A ranger who patrolled the area in 2009, Benjamin Adley, described the lights as quiet but purposeful. He claimed they moved with intention. Not random like reflections. Not chaotic like fireflies. But deliberate, almost cautious. Adley's logs, which still exist in paper form, describe lights that appear at the ridge, drift through the valley, then vanish when approached, only to reappear behind him several minutes later. 2 rangers on separate patrols filed identical descriptions without consulting each other. In 2011, a 3-person patrol team encountered lights that matched a precise formation described 8 years earlier, long before any of them joined the service. Afterward, training manuals quietly recommended avoiding prolonged exposure after sundown. The sector was crossed out the following year. The second zone on the map lies deeper in the forest, a wide, bowl-shaped valley with a wet meadow at its center. Rangers referred to it jokingly as the Echo Bowl. But the phenomenon there was not an echo, not a natural one. The earliest ranger logs from the 1980s describe the mimicry. Hearing one's own voice repeated back several seconds after speaking. Lower pitch, slower cadence, as if the forest was repeating their words through a massive underground chamber. One ranger, Dana Kilpatrick, reported calling out to locate her partner during a whiteout snowstorm. According to her written report, her partner never responded, but something else did. Something that repeated her voice with a tonal quality she described as damped, like it traveled through something soft before returning. When the team reunited at base, Dana learned her partner had not heard her call at all. The mimicry escalated over the next decade. Rangers heard their own radios respond before dispatch keyed the mic. Voices identical to coworkers asked them to check the tree line or come around the ridge. Each time, the real coworkers were miles away. After an incident in 2012, when a ranger followed what he believed was his supervisor calling his name and vanished for 6 hours, the zone was sealed. On the map, the area is crossed out so heavily the paper fibers are torn. The third zone sits along the western slope, a place the map labels only with outdated trail numbers. Rangers today refer to it simply as the clearing that comes back. The clearing existed in the 1990s, then grew over by 2004. But in 2008, rangers reported finding the clearing again. Perfectly circular. Barren. Every tree missing as if cut clean, but with no stumps, no sawdust, and no tool marks. Drone flyovers in 2010 showed nothing unusual, but in 2011, the clearing reappeared in a different location. Same diameter. Same absence of growth. Same scorched earth look, but without any heat signature. Data logs show the clearing's GPS position shifting by as much as a mile between sightings. Rangers who explored it described nausea and disorientation. One ranger vomited immediately after crossing the perimeter. Another reported hearing a high-frequency ringing inside the skull. The sector was quietly removed from patrol rotation at the start of 2012. On the map, the red line crosses the clearing 3 times, as though the person marking it wanted to be absolutely sure it stayed closed. The fourth zone is a remote, narrow pass hugging a river that changes course seasonally. This zone was crossed out because of disappearances. 3 hikers vanished there between 1997 and 2008. Only 2 were reported publicly. A ranger in 2009 wrote that the pass feels like it's waiting for something. He described the unsettling sensation of being watched from above, not from the cliffs, but from the trees leaning inward over the ravine, almost canopy-like. The missing hiker from 2008 left behind a camera. The final photo was taken mid-stride. No blur, no panic shot. Just a clean image of the pass with a faint distortion on the left edge, like heat rippling off pavement. Experts claimed it was camera damage. Rangers who saw the original photo disagreed. In 2012, after an overnight search team experienced collective disorientation, each member reporting the pass as being shorter or longer than the others remembered, the zone was shut down. On the map, the red slash across this sector is a single clean line, almost restrained, as if whoever marked it didn't want to draw attention to it. The fifth zone, located on the southern incline, was crossed out because of a phenomenon rangers called simply the blue drift. On certain nights, usually in late autumn, small patches of blue light appeared along the forest floor, not glowing objects, glowing soil. The ground itself came alive with a soft electric shimmer. Rangers who stepped near the blue drift reported a faint tingling in their feet and calves, as if a low-voltage current was running through the dirt. Soil samples collected in 2006 showed nothing unusual. A second test in 2009 showed elevated ionization. A third sample in 2011 showed no soil at all in the vial, only fine powder, lighter than ash. The phenomenon began occurring closer to patrol trails, reportedly moving upslope each year. When one ranger's boot print glowed blue for nearly 8 minutes after stepping through the area, the Park Service recommended immediate reassignment of patrol boundaries. In 2012, the zone was marked inactive. On the map, the blue drift zone is crossed out with a perfectly straight red line, but smudged at both ends, as if the marker slipped or the person's hand shook. The sixth zone. This one is marked not with 1 line, but with 2, forming an X. Rangers called the area Hollow Verge, a stretch of uneven forest floor where sound behaved unnaturally. Footsteps produced no echo. Claps produced no reflection. And voices seemed to vanish the moment they left the mouth. In 2010, a ranger discovered that noise recorded inside Hollow Verge produced static-laced, corrupted audio on playback, even with high-end equipment. A more disturbing discovery followed. Every ranger who patrolled the area reported the same recurring dream. A dream of standing in the forest at dusk, watching something approach through the trees. Not quickly, not aggressively, just approaching. No one could describe the figure. Only the feeling, dread mixed with familiarity. When the phenomenon escalated in late 2011, causing 2 rangers to collapse from sudden vertigo, Hollow Verge became the first sector ordered closed in 2012. The double X on the map is thick, dark, and purposeful, marking it unmistakably forbidden. The 7th zone is the most disturbing, because unlike the others, the map doesn't show what's beneath the redaction. Someone scraped the paper. Not erased. Not blotted out. Scraped it. The top layer of the map is peeled away in ragged curls, leaving a pale wound in the page. The red X over it bleeds into the torn fibers. The coordinates in the bottom margin are sliced off cleanly, as if with a razor. Only the faintest indentation remains where numbers used to be. The 7th zone has no surviving logs, no patrol records, no digital footprints. But retired Supervisor Martin Halpern, a ranger with 30 years in the district, agreed to speak on camera under the condition that the interview not identify the exact region. He sits in silhouette, backlit only enough to reveal the contour of his profile. His voice is steady, but distant. He explains that the 7 Zone shutdown was not a reaction to one event, or even a cluster of events. It was a response to what he calls the incident year, a period spanning late 2011 into 2012, where multiple anomalies escalated. Zones grew unstable. Patterns began to overlap. Events from one area appeared in another. Halpern claims the 7th Zone was the origin point. But when pressed, he will not explain. He only says, "You don't close a patrol sector because of fear. You close it because you finally understand it's not yours to patrol." He shifts in his chair. The silhouette tightens. The 7th Zone wasn't marked out of caution. It was marked out of respect. The interviewer asks him what happened there. Halpern does not answer. But the camera catches the tremor in his hand as he reaches for his water. After a long pause, he adds, "Don't go looking for it. The forest already moved it once." The camera returns to the map. The scraped-out void. The violent red slash. The missing coordinates. The 7 zones remain abandoned. Rangers today are told they were decommissioned due to structural hazards, outdated patrol trails, or seasonal instability. The official story is simple. The map tells another. A hidden archive of sealed-off anomalies. A record of places that behaved incorrectly. Lights appearing where they shouldn't. Voices repeating where they couldn't. Clearings moving across terrain. Ground glowing without heat. Dreams shared across distance. And one final place, scratched from existence. Rangers no longer patrol these 7 zones. Not because of budget. Not because of wildlife. But because something in the forest changed in 2012. And the people responsible for marking that map believed the safest thing to do was walk away.